have at our disposal. We need to label the IRGC as the terrorist organization that they are, which we in the European Parliament has repeatedly called for. That needs to happen. And we also need to continue in the wake of all these horrible human rights abuses that we see. We need to continue with more targeted EU sanctions at all levels of Iranian officials. And we really need to continue to refuse to go back to the table until all unjustly and wrongly held EU citizens are free. And why should we reward the Iranian regime's brutal treatment of its own people with more FaceTime? And I mean, to do that just now also with Mahsa Amini's commemoration coming up 1 year, I think it's horrible. And unfortunately, we see those moves not only from Borrell, we have seen it from the Belgian government and now also with the US government making prisoner swaps. And I celebrate together with the prisoners' families and the safe return of everyone that are being returned home. But what will these actions cost in the long run? And even more fundamentally, what happened to our own principle, no negotiations with terrorists? Well, I really do think that we need a new Iran strategy altogether. I don't think that Iran has earned sanctions relief. We need to stay true to our own democratic values in our continued relationship with Iran, which means that we cannot go back to the table until they have released all the prisoners and are treating their own citizens with respect. What I think we should do regarding the EU citizens that are unjustly held, I think that we need to demand access to the prisoners, consular assistance, and also naturally to have legal representation. But we need to demand their immediate and unconditional release. We need to continue to do that. To do this, we also need to have stronger coordination among the EU embassies. So we need to be stronger together, but also I think that we need from the European Union to strengthen the relationship with other countries. Well, the Parliament's position has repeatedly now been to label the IRGC a terrorist. We need to make that happen for all EU member states as soon as possible. I believe that negotiating with terrorists are the wrong way to go. I think that it will risk more hostages in the long term. And we cannot sit and have sanctions with one hand and then at the same time release and negotiate with the other hand, because it creates a serious dilemma for us. Well, I think that what we can do better is also trying to help the diaspora to unite more and be stronger together. So our support can be at actually also helping with that, because I think that is where we can also make a strong difference. I mean, to be murdered by wearing the hijab the wrong way is... I mean, I was horrified, like almost every one of my colleagues, I think. But it's not only that, but it's the incredible courage that we see now from the Iranian people and have seen for the last year. It's unbelievable, the courage that they are showing, and we must do everything that we can with all the tools that we do have to support the Iranian people in their fight for freedom. To see the desperation where the regime is poisoning schoolgirls is abhorrent. It's a new low even for Iran, to the regime, to poison innocent schoolgirls, to stop the protests. I think that it's one of the most horrible things I ever heard of, and we need to continue calling for an independent investigation of it, and we need to make sure that the struggle of the Iranian women and the people of Iran isn't forgotten. I think that, I can't remember her name right now, but the Iranian woman in prison for not wearing the hijab, refusing to put on the hijab to go to trial, but sitting still in prison because she's refusing to wear the hijab is, for me, extremely inspiring. And our democratic countries, we need to continue to add pressure. We cannot be naive when it comes to the Iranian regime. Because honestly, we were naive with Russia. We are naive with China. We cannot do the same mistake with Iran.